The $4 million podcast fraud. Welcome to False Profits, the place where we peel back the layers of real-world scams and shady money moves so you can spot the lies before they empty your bank account. And today, we've got drama, betrayal, millions gone missing, and a podcast empire that exploded from the inside out. This is the story of how $4 million vanished from some of the world's biggest podcasts. And the man at the center of it all? Colin Thompson, CEO of Kast Media. So buckle up. Let's rewind the tape and break it down. It all kicked off when comedian and podcaster Theo Von dropped a bombshell on air. He said, and I quote, "Our podcast was defrauded. We were stolen from. The company that did it is Kast Media, and the man that did it is Colin Thompson." Oof. And guess what? Theo wasn't alone. Other podcasters came forward. Altogether, over $4 million had gone missing. Some creators were owed 6 figures, others 7. So, who is Colin Thompson? And how did Kast Media go from trusted podcast partner to total financial disaster? At first glance, Kast Media looked legit. They were a podcast network, the middleman between shows and advertisers. They'd handle the ads, collect the revenue, take their cut, and pass the rest along to the creators. Easy, right? Except they didn't. Payments started showing up late, then later, until some creators hadn't been paid in 8 or 9 months. That's not a delay, that's vanishing money. Eventually, creators were told Kast Media might go bankrupt, unless they signed a new deal. Enter Podcast One. Here's how that offer went. You'd get some of the money you were owed, but spread out over 2 years. And instead of cash, you'd get stock in Podcast One, a company that wasn't even public yet, and is now down nearly 50%. Worse, Podcast One paid Kast Media in stock for every creator who accepted the deal. So creators had to bail out the company that owed them money just to get back a fraction of it. One podcaster, Jim Cornette, got an email saying, if Kast can't close the Podcast One deal, it will likely declare bankruptcy. Translation, sign, or say goodbye to your money. Now we reached out to Colin Thompson for his side of the story. He said Kast was built to support free speech and independent voices like Theo Von. But when asked about the missing millions, he blamed a 58% drop in ad revenue during 2022 and 2023. Basically, we just couldn't afford to pay anyone. But hold on, was that really the first sign of trouble? Turns out, nope. We spoke to creators and talent managers, and many said payments had been weird for years. Some were late as far back as 2018. One creator put it simply, from the first check we were supposed to get, it didn't arrive. It was never on time. Others said they were told a new investor was coming soon. Spoiler, the investor never came. Eventually, creators like Bryan Callen and Brendan Schaub realized Kast owed them $1.6 million across shows like The Fighter and The Kid and Thick Boy Studios. Then it got even messier. We spoke to Colin's former business partner, Dustin Knaus. His claim? All accounting was done through Google Sheets. He never let me see what was coming in or going out. Let that sink in. Google Sheets, millions of dollars, no transparency. Creators started receiving spreadsheets that didn't match, missing statements, and balances that made 0 sense. Some were even too afraid to speak out. Why? Because Colin allegedly threatened legal action, warning of $10 to $20 million in damages if they disrupted the Podcast One deal. So here's the million-dollar question. Where did the money go? Colin says it went toward infrastructure and minimum guarantees, contracts that promise creators fixed monthly payouts, even if the ad money didn't come in. But Dustin told us something else. Colin was using funds to offer flashy, multi-million-dollar deals to new talent, even while the revenue tanked. And in 2022, Colin bought a $1.7 million house. When asked about it, he said he moved the house into a trust using a Wyoming LLC because of threats he was receiving. But here's the twist. Records show the trust was created before any threats were reported. Even creepier, the LLC's website says, "Asset protection is our only focus. Creditors will be forced into a better settlement or dismiss the case altogether. When asked about that, Colin said, "I can't speak to what's written on a website I didn't write." So yeah, not a great look. And here's the truth. This isn't just about Colin Thompson. This story is bigger. It's part of a pattern. Musicians getting trapped in 360 deals. YouTubers screwed over by MCNs, creators lured in with big promises and left broke. According to Schaub and Callan, these cast deals happened on vibes alone. Word of mouth, no due diligence. Just he made 1.6 million? Can you hook me up? That kind of thinking gets people burned. So how do you protect yourself? Here's what we've learned. Always get an independent accountant to review revenue splits. Never sign based on promises. Get everything in writing. Avoid deals where you're giving up control in exchange for guaranteed money. And if someone offers you the world, read the fine print twice. This was the story of Kast Media, Colin Thompson, and the $4 million podcast fraud. At False Profits, we bring you the real stories behind financial deception, shady business tactics, and the too good to be true deals that creators fall for. If you found this valuable, subscribe, share it, and let us know in the comments, what would you have done in their shoes? Because in the end, the worst thing you can do with your business is blindly trust someone else to run it for you. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned and stay sharp.